C.R.P.H.A, humanitarian and citizen advocate. This one is going to be possibly short, depending on how long I talk about the particular topics. One is that we have Gavin Newsom, the the one that used to be, of course, a moderate Republican while he was mayor of San Francisco in the 1990s. He is now, of course, as everybody knows by now anyway, the California state mayor. Not the state governor, actually. Sorry. And as governor, essentially, he's trying to put out something that only really, truly benefits the illegals when it comes to the healthcare. Thereby, the United States citizens, the legal citizens, especially the ones that have lived here for a number of years, a lot longer than most of the illegals, if not all of the illegals. He expects them to pay their premiums out of their own pockets, which basically would mean the premium and the cost level for regular Californians would go high, and the premiums for the illegals would stay at an all-time low to the affordability. And yet there's a number of Californians that cannot afford too high of a premium. Many of those are senior citizens, and many of those are also people who have working families. Many of those also are single and newly married couples, and human beings, essentially citizens of the state of California. Be that, of course, does Gavin Newsom realize that he's using his so-called mandated thing as a something to where he can try to slip it through under the radar, as it were, to where the illegals are benefited, but the California citizens are not. And yet he wants to act like it's a good thing when it's not. It's socialist. It is unconstitutional. The government, anything government run, has been seen more of a socialist, and even with it being government run and mandated, it's socialist. The basic fact is that Gavin Newsom wants to do something beneficial for the immigrants, be that the illegals, essentially, that cross the border every day of the week and every month of the year so far. Those who have been accepted into the state of California to start with, even under Jerry Brown's little acceptance bullshit, that Gavin Newsom wants to help and benefit the illegals, and basically attack without any noticeable provocation the cost levels of normal and legal California citizens that have lived here for a lot longer than most of the, if not all, the illegals again, and the ones that were born and raised in this state. Thereby, Gavin Newsom's healthcare plan is a sham. It's a fucking hoax. It's a liberal fucking bullshit socialist hoax, which basically he wants to try to get it to where it can be accepted within the state of California. That nothing bad's going to happen to the citizens of California, but yet it's in some way related to, if not completely, totally related to the Obamacare situation through Covered California especially. the one thing is, Gavin Newsom doesn't realize if he tries to pull that through, he's not doing anything beneficial for the state and its legal citizens. The one thing is also is that he's making the option of him being impeached early a lot easier, because I already put a timetable. If you remember, I put a timetable on the fact that if he doesn't take down the sanctuary state and city status for the state and for the state of California and the city of San Francisco, if he doesn't take those those statuses down, which are unconstitutional, that's one large step close to his early impeachment. Also, Gavin Newsom hasn't done shit when it comes to the low-income housing situation. He's not really doing any much, if at all, Zippo essentially. When it comes to the high rent thing, the cap thing that I mentioned, I believe, in one of my advocate videos, is that it it or if unless I did or didn't mention it, but the cap essentially is only a moderate cover for where there's no way for the rents to keep going up. But the one thing is, it the rental management can raise it up at least 5%, 7% in emergencies. That doesn't really solve the high cost of rent situation either. And yet Gavin Newsom hasn't done shit about that either. Therefore, also he hasn't done anything when it comes to the job situation in the state of California. He hasn't done anything, especially when it comes to the new low income situation within the state of California. When it comes to the low income apartments, there's only 2 in the state, in the city and the counties of Sacramento. There's only 2 in the Silicon Valley area. Of course, starting from the Mountain View and San Jose area. Those separately, of course. And there's only maybe 1, if not almost 3, in San Mateo, but not really for sure on that one. But the one thing is also is that he has ignored many different things, and with his healthcare system, his healthcare plan, it's not beneficial for the state of California. It's not beneficial for the legal citizens of California, and it's not going to help anybody, because the rates will force the legal citizen again to pull out more out of their own pockets, and for the ones that are not able to afford it, through say Medicare and Medi-Cal, it makes it to where they can easily lose it, because Medicare and Medi-Cal will only be able to spend only so much, which basically means that the legal citizen is going to be billed the rest, which is not a logical step. So Gavin Newsom doesn't know what the fuck he's doing on that aspect. Gavin Newsom needs to really roll back and really think about this, because if he brings that type of health care that only is beneficial mostly for the illegals, and he expects the California citizens to be okay with it, especially the ones that are working and supporting families and doing what they can, which is not easy, especially in the city and county of Sacramento, then he is a complete brain-dead fuckhead. Seriously. Because no governor is supposed to make things easier for one side and harder for the other. If they make it easier for one side, in this case the illegals, and harder on the legal citizens of the state, then guess what? There's a larger percentage of those legal citizens that can get Gavin Newsom's ass out of office like that, including with the fact that he hasn't done shit about the fucking high cost rent situation in the state of California. He hasn't done shit about taking down the sanctuary state and sanctuary city status, which is unconstitutional. Those two statuses are unconstitutional, and he hasn't done shit when it comes to the employment situation. And yet he wants people to think that he's a good governor. When, especially with the healthcare plan that he announced not too long ago, that's still on newspapers. It's not beneficial for the state of California, and it's again not beneficial for the legal citizens, and it's not logical, nor is it realistic to only benefit the illegals to make them have less of a worry, and yet the legal citizens have to have way more of a worry, especially those who are on supplemental security income type of insurance, which they can easily lose within seconds, within about a week, with his healthcare plan that he has announced. And that's more than detrimental and risky for the senior citizens, as well as those that are developmentally disabled, handicapped, and beyond that, for all that are on supplemental security and incomes, and those who are on fixed incomes as well as retirement incomes. Does Gavin Newsom realize that? Obviously not. Because if he did, then he would make it where it's not mandated, it's not government run, it's not subsidized, to where it makes it easier for the illegals. He would easily get it to where it's affordable for all, not just the one side. But at the same time, though, too, he still hasn't taken down the sanctuary city and state status, which is unconstitutional. Those two statuses, again, are unconstitutional. He hasn't done shit about that, and I've already put out that he better work on taking those two statuses down. But of course, here's the plus side of the whole thing is that Trump has pulled away the funding for the high-speed train, because right as it stands right now, California is still seen as a sanctuary city and state, part of the United States. San Francisco is seen as a sanctuary city. California itself is seen as a sanctuary state. And Trump is not about unconstitutionalized bullshit like this, So Gavin Newsom is making things worse for him, especially his administration. If I saw him while I was over at the Capitol, I would tell him this. If I saw him, don't make things that are unconstitutional and take down the sanctuary city and state status, or you can make things even worse for yourself and your administration, and you may not be able to go in for a second term. And that's an actuality, especially with this particular healthcare situation that he wants to try to get passed. Gavin Newsom is grasping at straws, but guess what though? He's pulling at the wrong straws. And yes, there are straws that are logical, and there are straws that are not so logical. You know what I mean? Or not even logical at all, really. And he needs to really, really think about this before he pushes it any further. Because what I say is an actuality. No legal citizen, both senior, developmentally disabled, and anybody who else is on supplemental security and low working incomes, and also moderate working incomes, and also moderate incomes in general that are both working and looking for jobs and not working, and also retired, will not want to pay premiums or any percentage to where they can keep their insurance just so the illegals have it a lot easier. No. In fact, the illegals should have it much harder because they are not supposed to be in the United States coming in across that border with no legal tender, with no legal reason. And if you come across that border, you're coming across with no legal documentation. You do that, you are at risk of being deported again. Thereby, the illegals should not have it easy. And as I said, when Jerry Brown was in our governor, the governor of California, um, the sanctuary city and state status is only a safety net for illegals, and that's unconstitutional. So guess what, Gavin? You want to carry on that unconstitutional bullshit that Jerry Brown started? Then you're in the wrong, and you will go straight to hell if you do not take down the sanctuary state and city status, and if you do not think very, very clearly and hard and make sure that you are doing the right thing. Because guess what? The more you put it harder on the legal citizens, especially senior citizens, you'll lose support, and you'll make more of the percentage of people to leave the state of California. And guess what? That would basically go to the point where the illegals would have to end up having to pay that high premium. Now, wouldn't it? With large amounts, a higher percentage of than 79% of what I saw last time in the newspaper article about many people leaving the state of California for various different reasons, of course, besides the housing situation. And as I said, California can easily turn into a ghost town. And the healthcare situation, Gavin, could be an added reason. Thereby, you will be seen as equal to Jerry Brown as an uncaring, liberal, socialist, jackass governor. And it wouldn't matter what part of the party you're part of. If you go socialist and unconstitutional, Gavin, and even unfair to the legal citizens especially, then guess what? You, Gavin, will be gone within a matter of weeks. We can easily go to the point to where you are impeached within a matter of months, if less than that. If you continue this illogical socialist bullshit, and where it only favors the illegals, especially, then guess what? Bye bye. You'll see every legal Californian leaving the state. And on top of that, that will easily put it where you're completely pushed out. So Gavin Newsom needs to really think about that. Okay, topic number 2. Now, Alyssa Milano is well known for Who's the Boss and also Charmed. Alyssa Milano is putting out a protest, which is the No Sex Act or No Sex movement of sorts. And it's the fact that she believes that a number of states are ignoring the Roe v. Wade thing, although in a way they are, I'd say. A number of states, even including Texas, are ignoring the Roe v. Wade situation. And of course, that's mostly liberalized. Does she realize that? Do you, Alyssa Milano, most of the illogical actions done in politics is done by the liberals? The ones that would easily harm the female rights to their own body is done by the liberals nowadays. And yet most of Hollywood actors and actresses are supporting the liberals. And yet most of them, including Cher, are supporting the liberals and attacking the wrong party. Being, of course, they're attacking Trump when he's doing everything positive, and yet they're supporting the ones that are doing everything negative. And the ones that are doing everything negative are the socialist, idiot, liberal Democrats. Yet the Hollywood starlets and whatnot are supporting those same people who are doing various numbers of things that are negative, even to the rest of the American people, including the states that they govern. And one of them is Gavin Newsom at this point. And yet, you want fairness. I want fairness for everybody. I'm a humanitarian advocate. That's why I'm making this video. I've been advocating for people, both genders, since 2004. I'm doing it for not just for me. I'm doing it for people who in the U.S., including our youth, including my children. And also, Alyssa Milano, do you realize that the majority of women who are going towards this way are not really 100%? Because most of them are not really too well informed as much as they may think that they are. I'm not saying women are stupid. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not going towards that sinful judgment aspect. The basic fact is this: there are women that understand your protest. There are women that don't understand. There are women that do want the best for them and want their bodies. And they want them to be treated fairly and whatnot. Of course, you don't really need a feminist movement for that. The ERA was quite enough. Yet with the current feminist movement and the Me Too movement, obviously the ERA, as I said, wasn't enough. Obviously wasn't now, ladies. Alyssa Milano, I'm going to tell you straight out. You get women to where they can get it to where men's rights are equal completely without using the backing of the feminist movement of today and without using the backing of the Me Too movement, because it's all based on humanities. It's not about one damn movement and the other. Then you know I will do one thing. I can, and I will do my darndest to have people support you, even in the male gender, if you do that. If you want to talk with me, fine. Just let me know via C.R.P.H.A, Humanitarian Advocate on Facebook. Alyssa Milano. We can talk about it beyond that. And believe me, Alyssa Milano, when I was younger, I'm going to tell you straight out, and I'm going to put the topics aside for a second. Alyssa Milano, when I was younger, let's put it this way, I had a thing for you. I'm not going to say if I still do, because, of course, you know how that goes with teenagers and everything, right? But when I heard you doing a sex strike thing, though, Alyssa, is kind of surprising because the Roe v. Wade thing seems substantial, and yet the Roe v. Wade thing was logical among all, but yet I know that there might be some um, shall we say loopholes in to where they can work around that, as Obama tried to work around the Constitution when he was the country's president, which was illogical and stupid. Thereby, a socialist act like that can be very, very detrimental to one's soul in a spiritual sense. Obama and Michelle Obama will find that out soon enough in a spiritual sense. But anyways, Alyssa Milano, you get it to where the feminist movement is torn down. The Me Too movement is torn down because it's not really benefiting the Western women as it's well known as, right? Especially when it comes to relationships, but also when it comes to relationships as well as marriage. Women don't realize, especially in the feminist and Me Too movements, that the more they the more they go towards illogical standards and levels, that the louder their biological clocks will start ticking, and the more they'll become more often than not childless. Thereby, the louder their biological clocks tick, the more chances of them becoming unfertile. Thereby, also, that goes to the points of humanity becoming to almost to the extent of a non-existent. I believe in Gene Roddenberry's vision, and Gene Roddenberry's vision has it to where everybody is is more than equal without any movement. There's equality on both sides, fairness on both sides. There's no unbalanced variables of any sort and type. Okay, and this is not due to the it's not based of fiction. And Roddenberry's vision is the base of reality, although it may not seem like that way right now for many still, because of many people think that Star Trek is only science fiction. Star Trek is not just science fiction; it's science fact. The more people realize that, the more people would realize maybe we should do this. You know what I mean? Okay, now the ERA marched and protested from 1972 to 1978 for women's rights, equality, independence, and much, much more. And in fact, it got to the points to where women were able to vote again, even though in the 1900s they were able to vote even back then. But yet, for some reason or another, the country forgot about that. Be that, of course, mostly through the political system. But now the women are able to work and be independent, live on their own, survive on their own, and whatnot else, right? The one thing is though is that the court system women have, but yet there's one thing though: women are not really looking at the reality of things, which basically, even if a woman divorces a man and tries to take him for everything he has, even within himself, right? Um, she thinks, the woman obviously thinks, and this has been my noticeable thing to it, is that women think that their entitlements are this way, and the men's are still right here. When really the logical aspect is this: even 50-50. You need to focus on that too, and put that through to women as well. The one thing also is Alyssa, if you do this and get rid of the feminist movement, the feminazi actions, and the illogical things, especially that try to tear down men, especially emotionally and psychologically, then you will get more support from men on that. And the one thing is, okay, ladies and gentlemen, what Alyssa Milano has put out there, even through CNN, is that there was an action taken by physicians, according to some bill or act of a bill or whatnot, and I believe it was Texas or something, that the the child would be taken out, the embryo would be taken out and then put back in. That's very harmful to the woman. That is very harmful to the woman. Do not politicians understand that? Do not the state legislators that are implementing that type of a bill understand that? Or do they not really give a damn about humanity? Because it can easily happen to them and their family members as well. And if it does happen to them, then guess what? Then it will be the politician's fault, nobody else's. So, Alyssa Milano, I got you on that one. I got your support on that. But basically, you got my support actually in that aspect. I should say. Then turn it around anyway. The one thing is also, Alyssa Milano, you got to really, 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 really make sure. And I'm not saying you don't, but to be on the safe side here, okay, is make sure that you got your facts totally straight, because things can be heard and read wrong at times. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you read it wrong or heard it wrong or researched it wrong or nothing like that. But just to be on the safe side, keep checking back from time to time. That's a logical thing to do. And on another note, Nancy Pelosi's at it again. She thinks that she can implement things, especially when it comes to for the LGBT, the rights for them, especially when basically it has to be approved by the president himself. It can't just be going right through through the House of Representatives and Senate and be right into law within seconds like that, and it doesn't work that way. But the basic fact is, Nancy Pelosi doesn't think that it should be approved by the president because she's too afraid of the president. She fears the unknown, as it were, because she can see that that Trump has way more support than the liberal Democrats, and that's the truth. And aside from the starlets of Hollywood, Trump has a higher percentage of support than the Democrats, and that freaks her out. Guess what, Nancy Pelosi? You need to realize that the more you put in action, even statements against the president, the more you're going to find your party to be way more than non-favorable, especially in the election, and way more than to the points to where your party will be nowhere close to winning the 2020 election. In fact, you've already made that established to where they will not win the 2020 election. But which basically puts a higher percentage towards the Republicans and conservative Republicans to where Trump will win the 2020 election that you, Nancy Pelosi, fear. And yet you've talked about wanting to be united and work together fair in all positive collaboration with the next president, right? That's a load of shit, Nancy Pelosi, and you know it. You only want things to favor your party. Forget the American people's beneficial attributes and whatnot, and forget about what's better for this country, and forget about what's best for the youth and our for this whole entire country, including with the whole entire population and including our youth of the American people. That's what you want. Your Liberal Party doesn't give a damn about the American people, and the Liberal Party does not give a damn about our youth, and the Liberal Party does not give a damn about this country. I've said so many times, Nancy, you need to realize that you're fighting a losing battle. So are many women in the feminist and Me Too movement when it comes to going against men in the MGTOW movement. Many women, so many feminists want guy and the men to be brought back to the plantation so they can take every guy for everything that they have, and who gives a shit what it does to the guy? Ain't gonna happen. Thereby also, Nancy Pelosi, you need to realize that if you want to have all fairness, you need to think logically. And obviously you've lost that ability because you're becoming way more than senile. Nancy Pelosi's becoming way more than senile. And she needs to be forced down, out of office, out of her seat, out of her position before things get even more, way worse for the country as well as the party. And if Schumer or anybody else in the Democratic Party doesn't see that fact of it, then guess what? Hello, Green Party, and goodbye, Democratic Party. Or hello, Independent Party, connected and siding with the Republicans, both conservative and regular. Goodbye forever, Democratic Party. Because the Democratic Party will be dismantled by the constitutional aspects. It may take some time, but it will be done. So Nancy Pelosi needs to do what is necessary and step the fuck down. Get out of your seat in the House. Because you're not making anything better for yourself. You're not making anything better for the Democratic Party. You're not making anything better for the country and the American people or our youth as well. You've done your time. You don't want to do any more time to where you and your little feminazi mind makes things worse. Trump is doing the very best possible thing that he's been doing and that he promised. I, for one, will support him nonstop. I, for one, also will support Trump and vote for him in the 2020 election. And I know there's a buildup of more and more every day and every month and every week that will support Trump. The aspect is that the Democratic politicians that are running for the presidential seat, they don't have a chance in hell. Neither does Joe Biden, seeing that he helped and supported the fact that Obama went against the Constitution and tried to work around the Constitution while Biden was vice president, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. Thereby, he wants to reinstate the whole fucking bullshit again. He won't tell you straight out, but that's exactly it. He won't be on. He's not. And liberals have become way more than dishonest, way more than untrustworthy, way more than anything that's positive. Okay, the basic fact is that Joe Biden will lie through his teeth just to make it sound so positive and true that he thinks that he can get your vote. He thinks that he can get your support, even by this. He thinks that you're going to vote for him and support his ass, even though he was the one that supported Obama while Obama went against the Constitution and tried to work around it, and while Obama also used the presidential jet to go to countries that had no involvement with us in any illogical, negative manner, and he apologized for our actions. And yet they had no negative involvement with the United States. Joe Biden didn't approach Obama on that negative action now, did he? Joe Biden didn't even approach Obama on the aspect of decreasing the amount of troops that he did, which lowers our defenses, which liberals want, obviously. And also, the one other thing is this, is that, hold on. And then the other thing is this, is that Joe Biden did not do a damn thing when it came to the healthcare, the Obamacare, essentially. He did not stop Obama from making it a not unconstitutional to an unconstitutional healthcare plan. He did not stop Obama from slamming the door in the Republicans and C-SPAN's face. He did not stop any illogical actions that could easily hurt the presidency of Obama, and that did hurt the presidency of Obama. And if it hurts Obama, it hurts the administration as well as the vice president. Now, doesn't it, Biden? And thereby, if it hurts the presidency within the Democratic Party, it hurts the Democratic Party equally. And just as detriment. Thereby, guess what? Biden, you just wrote your fucking gravestone to the point to where you won't be in the running for the 2020 election, as much as you think you will be. And with Bernie Sanders siding with Hillary, he just wrote his gravestone as well. He won't be chosen in the running for the 2020 election. Many of the other ones that sided with Obama will not be in the running. That's including Kamala Harris. With the additional fact is that Kamala Harris hasn't really addressed the accusations or supposed accusations, which seem to be ringing more and more true, that she has something against the African American population. Thereby, she's a racist little feminazi little bitch. She doesn't want to address the American public of the truth. But of course, I know if she did, that she tried to make up some bullshit story and statement, and she knows that too. That in itself can also affect her too. So therefore, she's not going to be in the running, which basically puts things up even more so for Trump to be in the 2020 election and voted in for a second term, which is a positive, a major positive. Now, again, Alyssa Milano has some work for her to do once she sees this video. And hopefully she can redirect the support from Democrats and the Hollywood starlets to Trump because it is the liberals that are causing this thing against women and their rights to their bodies situation. It's not the Republicans. Yet I know a number of Hollywood starlets may think it's the Republicans when it's really the Democrats that are causing this illogical thing towards women and their rights to their bodies, and especially when it comes to the fertilization of children or children soon to be born or said soon to be born in any state that has these illogical bills that are about to be put through essentially. Even the ones that she stated even the ones that Alyssa Milano stated through CNN. And I will put that link on the description, on the description part of this video. There is another aspect though too, is that there are many companies that have women that are or that have openly and not so openly, but mostly by actions, uh, to claim that they're part of the feminist movement, the Me Too movement, and one of them being, of course, the female executives of YouTube, according to one particular um, YouTube creator, video creator, that I've heard anyway. And I'm not going to, and with respect of the person, I'm not going to divulge the person's name. Unless the person already knows who that is. Unless the feminist woman through YouTube's corporate execs knows who I'm talking about. I'm not against YouTube, even indirectly. The basic fact is I am against the feminist movement of today, because the feminist movement of today shows that the Me Too, also the Me Too movement of today especially, shows that the ERA wasn't enough for women. And as I said, the ERA, obviously, the women of the ERA that marched and protested for women through 1972 to 1978 for all women, including for the women of today and the future beyond, was obviously not enough. Thereby, they want to try to blame the male gender for their inadequacies, when it's really not the male gender's fault for female inadequacies and indecision, among other things. It is the indecision of women. Men didn't cause the indecision that women have. Women have had indecisiveness within them from the day they were born. It only became active as they started having to make decisions for themselves. Thereby, also, women have felt that they can't find a place for them in society. much like they did, that they were able to find a place for themselves in the matriarchal society, which the matriarchal society is said to be a female-dominated society. Thereby, the feminist movement and the Me Too movement of today want women to keep on attacking men as if women are always the victim. And even if the woman does something wrong to the man, they want to still act like the woman's the victim when the woman, especially when the woman did something negative and harmful to the man. As Spock would say, that is most illogical. And also, in a spiritual sense, those women that go that direction will never see the gates of heaven. They will never see Heavenly Father and our Savior. They may see Him from afar. The illogical, sinful actions that women do, even against the other gender, being the male gender, doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter what the so-called made-up reason is. My religion states that women have an easier chance than men to get into heaven. But the way the feminist movement is going, and the Me Too movement is going, especially when it comes to um, making it to where women pretend like they're the victim, even if they do something wrong to the man, even physically wrong to the man. Then guess what? Ladies, you might as well say bye-bye to marriage and bye-bye to to having children, which basically decreases the population of humanity, where the humanity is almost not, will be practically non-existent, pretty damn close. And say bye-bye to heaven, because you ladies that go that direction will never see heaven. You'll see hell, though. And even the ones that are pushing this feminist bullshit will also see hell. The ones that are not pushing it will see heaven. The ones that are not truly a part of it will see heaven. The ones that claim that they are not a part of it when they truly are will see hell. The truth hurts now, doesn't it, feminist and Me Too movement idiots and bitches? Women have have imagined since the age of 4 and 5 years of age, to start with, that that the that the little girl would use an imagination, which is a very positive and sweet, adorable thing, and it's a very positive thing to do, especially even as they explore the world around them, as boys would do, but the boys explore the world around them in a different sense, and I'll explain that part. But the little girl explores the world around them in such a way that when they go to the points of imagination of being walking down the aisle with the men that they truly love, right? The one thing is, the little girl dreams of the man being with her through her whole entire life, right? That's the whole concept, right? The one thing is this. The one thing is that when that happens, the woman in question that has that same small child within her is going, and when she decides to go the opposite direction of that, she is not really paying attention to the fact that she is letting down the child within her. And yet she does, and she thinks that she's empowering the child within her by going feminati when she's not. So basically, hold on again. The basic fact is this. The basic fact is that women need to realize the wrong that they're doing. Women need to realize the wrong that they have been doing ever since the current feminist and Me Too movement. So, in all, that needs to be dealt with as well. And also those who are enacting their feminazi ways and thinking, especially while in the corporate offices of various different businesses, it doesn't matter where, they should be completely let go, put into the points of unemployment, and do not get any backing financial, even in the package aspect, as it were. I'm not going to say that would teach them a lesson, but the basic fact is that would teach them you cannot use your personal views and actions against and while performing your duties in the working world. If you want to know more, please let me know, and I will tell you more. But like I said, I'm going to put the link below of the CNN interview with Alyssa Milano. Uh, and you will see what I'm talking about. That one, I don't know if you'll agree with her or not, but at the same time, is that if she's watching this video, that she will hopefully understand why I say what I say. And also, I still support Trump. So Trump, keep up the good work, and to our troops who are still serving and who have served our country, I thank you for your service. And may Heavenly Father bless the United States of America, and may Heavenly Father bless you all. And Trump for 2020, as I said before.